Namaste, welcome to the Pragna channel. You are in the chapter 2 of Apache Spark Masterclass for beginners. And so far in chapter 2, we have installed some awesome tools, including Apache Spark. Some of you, I think, already installed Spark and already playing around with Spark Shell and as well as the PySpark as well as Jupyter, I'm assuming. And in the last video, we set up Eclipse so that we can run Scala as well as Java programs, PySpark programs. I hope people who are interested in that also playing around with it. And in this video, we are doing much more than that and something different. Some of you might even be surprised and be like, why are we installing this in a Apache Spark masterclass? Well, as I mentioned, I'm going to teach you everything that is there to know about Apache Spark, and this is part of it. All right. So, what is it about? Well, we are going to set up Hadoop. Yep, there you go. We are going to set up Hadoop. You might be wondering, why are we installing Hadoop while we are learning Spark? Right? Are we going to use Hadoop MapReduce as the distributed framework for our problem solvings? Well, in the last chapter, we have discussed about MapReduce. Are we going to use that? The answer is not at all. We are going to use two components of Hadoop. What are they? HDFS and yarn. You know what these two are already. If you don't, HDFS is used for data storage and yarn as a cluster manager. In the comments, let me know what other cluster managers does Spark support. Remember, Spark supports multiple cluster managers and one of them is yarn. So we are going to use that while you are planning to run your Spark programs. So we are setting up Hadoop. And in order to install Hadoop, what do we need? We need to download it, just like any other software. Once we download it, we are going to configure it. Configuration is something at least, for Hadoop, I don't like. It might break anywhere, you wouldn't know because there are too many things that are involved while installing Hadoop. I will give you a foolproof installation guide. So you should not be facing those issues. In order to download it, go to this URL. I have provided this URL in the setup guide. Go to this URL, then come and click on this one. You will download a file which will be similar to this. And I'm going to use 3.3.6. If you wish to do something else, go ahead. But if you get any installation issues, don't come to me. If you want to follow this masterclass, then download this particular version, which is almost latest. It's not like it's an oldest version or anything. Once you downloaded that, let's come here. And what is the prerequisite for any big data tool is Java. And if you followed my previous videos, you should already have a Java version involved. And if you followed me exactly, you should have Java 17 installed on your Linux machine. Okay. So once you do that, go to your downloads because that's where your Hadoop tar file is. Now what do? We untar it by using this particular command. Enter. Now this is going to untar it or unzip it, whatever you want to call. All right, that is done. So if I do this, you should be able to see a Hadoop folder similar to this one. Now let's move this folder to a different folder because even our Spark is in our home directory, which was home/Taparagna. So we are going to move this to there as well.
Either you can do this, and I'm going to move it to a folder called Hadoop. Everything inside this is going to go there. It's gone. CD will take you to your home directory. You can check that by issuing pwd present working directory. Now, if you do this, you should see a folder called Hadoop, which you can see here. So let's go there and check if all our files are there or not. And as you can see, we have these files. So once you finish your downloading and moving, you should see all these files. Now this is the downloading part. Now we are going to do the configuration part. Where are the Hadoop configuration files sit? We are already in Hadoop, so we don't have to do that. In Hadoop, you see a folder called etc and then Hadoop. This is where your files are going to sit. And the first file we are going to edit is called Hadoop env, which contains all the Hadoop environment related variables. So as usual, I'm going to go to the GUI and edit it because it will make everyone's life easy. Let's go to Hadoop etc, again Hadoop. You can see that directory here. Now let's go to Hadoop env.sh. Let's click on open with text editor and you should see this file. And we are going to do a couple of additions to this. One of them would be the Java home, which you will have it here. It's commented out, so you can uncomment it. And let's put our home. If you followed me on Ubuntu, your home should be this. And if you are wondering like, okay, mine is not Ubuntu, it is some other Linux version, how do I find it? It's easy. It's easy, but it's not straightforward. So Java is your program which is already in your bin or path. So if you issue Java, you should get it. So any software location, if you want to find, just do which Java. So it's going to give this, but this is not at its home directory. This is just any executable on your computer. It's actually installed into the bin. So it's not your actual Java home. So in order to do that, then what is this? This is just a link to your actual Java program in your home directory. How do you know that it is a link? So you can do this. Okay. Oops, not that. If you do this, it will show this one. You see, this is the one that is executing it, but this is just a link pointing to this particular location. And if you are going to do this. And the funny thing is, even this is a link, which because I already know that. So even this is a link which is pointing to this one, and this is your actual Java home. Which one is that? This is the home, which is what I have added it here. You see this? So that's how you can find the Java home. And once you do this, Control S saves it. So I'm done. So I'm not going to do anything to this file anymore. Close this. The next file I'm going to do is course site, which is already here. If not, what you can do is you can go to here. Course site will be somewhere here. Right click, open with text editor, and here it is. And you won't have anything yet, but we are going to add a couple of items to it. What are those? You will see in a minute. Just copy paste from the setup guide I have already provided. You don't have to type. What am I adding? I'm adding the default name file system. Which file system? It's the HDFS file system we are going to use. And we are telling this is the location. So it's a remote location. We are giving it. Localhost means my computer on port. Make the HDFS file system available. And then I'm going to add another property, which is the Hadoop temporary directory. You can give whatever you want, but I want to keep things simple. So I'm going to put that in here. Once you add this, Control S, save, done. So we are done with core site as well. We will visit these files often whenever we try to install any other big data tools or Hadoop related tools. Next file we are going to is HDFS site. So this is going to have all properties related to your HDFS setup. HDFS is what again? It's a storage system. S3 and other storage, cloud storages actually use HDFS as architecture. So keep in mind, you might not have heard about it, but Underlying technology is HDFS. And what are we adding here? We are adding the name directory. So if you don't know anything about HDFS, how it works behind the scenes, etc., I would recommend you to watch any YouTube course. This course is not for Hadoop, as you know. So don't worry about it. At a high level, name node is, let's say, this is what? Storage, right? It stores all your files. How does it store it? Well, you will have something called data node, which actually stores your file blocks. Got it? They call it chunks. It splits a file into n number of chunks depending on whatever you put the block size to be. And all those file blocks locations are not actually on data node. Name node is the one that stores it. Name node stores all these blocks locations in its memory. Okay, name node is like a master, data node is like a slave. Similar to Spark, you have the same concept, right? Map reduce, same concept. So name node is the one that actually has the information of which server contains which files chunks. All that information in memory it stores. Data node is the one that actually stores your chunks or blocks of data. So we are telling where my name node should be, where my data node should be. And since I am only setting up one or single node, I'm telling it only have one copy of the data, right? By default, HDFS stores 3 versions of the same data by replicating it with whatever number you put. I only have one server. Does it make sense to have 3 versions, 3 copies of it same? No. That's why I put replication to 1. Control S, close this. Now, the next one is going to be the map reduce one. So whatever we did so far for HDFS, the storage one, now we are going to edit the map reduce, which is required for the yarn, the resource manager. So this is the file. Edit, open with text editor. And it doesn't have anything as well. So what are we pasting? Oops, that's fine, I guess. Again, I'm copying this from the setup guide because I need to know the setup guide, whatever I put actually works or not. Okay, so what are we telling this? We are telling it we are not going to use the map reduce as the resource manager. Instead, we are going to use yarn. So put that, Control S, save, close this. Then we are going to edit or config yarn settings, yarn site XML, which is for the yarn resource manager. Even this doesn't have anything. So we are going to add only one, which is the web proxy address. This is needed for your yarn to be available. All right, so that's about the Hadoop configuration files. Now we are going to, let's not see this. These are hives. Let's remove it. We are not yet there. You will see them. So we are going to remember this file, bash rc file, which gets loaded every time you start a session. Well, so far for Spark, we added this function. You can add it there, but I don't want you to execute this Spark one. Instead, we are just going to add them here. So whenever you start your computer or session, these are going to be automatically loaded. You don't have to run this one. Now, what are we adding? We are adding Hadoop home as usual. And then we have 2 bins. One is bin, which will contain the actual executables. If I go and show you that, you will see the HDFS executable, Hadoop executable, map ready yarn executables. Whereas SBin is going to contain scripts like how starting HDFS, starting yarn, all those kind of scripts. So we need to put both of them in our path so that when you execute HDFS, it gets executed. We are making those executable available to our path. Then we already have our Java home. If not, add the Java home here. And then we are going to put Java home in the path. And then we are going to add the config directory. You have seen the config directory, right? The directory which so far we have edited all those files. They are in here. So it needs that as well for some other programs to execute successfully, you need this. And then we are going to tell yarn home as well. In our whenever you run yarn, it has this variable in its script, so we are setting that up. If you are wondering why I'm setting Hadoop, because yarn home is that, because where is the yarn is in here, right? So home directory, you will put one directory behind the bin, which is Hadoop. That's what I put here, Hadoop. Okay, that's it. Once you put it, Control S, then come here and you know the drill. Go to your home directory, then source dash bash rc. So whatever variables you are exporting them will be brought into your current session. Now you need to unblock some things for your yarn to work. So just take this and execute it. Don't ask me any questions. Okay, just run this. It's already in your setup guide. Okay, this is security related. You are just allowing certain things to work. Now then you are putting some environment files. So you some of the daemons like yarn, uh, resource manager, they can inherit them. And what are those? Is this is like whatever we set up those exports, right? You could do it using this command as well, but it's confusing, so I'm just going to tell you are saying put this export Hadoop OPTs in this particular file. You could go ahead and add this manually there, but I already have these commands, so I'm going to execute them. All it does is Hadoop env, you can go and edit it and add this particular export Hadoop s equals to $Hadoop OPT. Yes, you can do that, or you can just execute this particular command and do this. It's up to you, however you want. So we executed 3 different commands. And that's about it regarding the configuration and whatnot. Can we start the Hadoop now? Of course not, because you would need something very important for Hadoop to work. Why? Because whenever you execute Hadoop, you have name node, you have data nodes. So in order, those two are two different nodes, right? Like two different processes. Usually, if one wants to talk to other on in a cluster, they will be on completely different machines. So they talk to each other through SSH. And imagine when you set up SSH, you have a password, right? Whenever name node wants to talk to data node, it will try to SSH to data node, and then it will be like, okay, I'm trying, but I need a password, enter password. Are you going to do that every time it says? No. So there is something called passwordless SSH that you need to set up, so that name node and any other daemons, when they are talking to each other, they don't have to ask you for password. So for that, we need SSH. And by default, you don't have SSH on your, what do you call it, on your system. So you need to install it. So I'm going to show you how to do that on Ubuntu, of course. So run this update so that it will update your repository. And then you are going to install OpenSSH server. I think I already did it. So it will just say that or something like that. It is installing. Is it? Okay, it did. That's fine. Okay. Then we are going to enable SSH. We installed it, but we need to enable it. Okay. And then we are going to start it. And then we are going to look at the status to see if it actually started successfully or not. And as you can see, it's active, it's running. So whatever we did is working fine. So we have SSH now. Now we need to set up the passwordless. So you need to be in your home directory and then execute this particular command. Okay. And it's saying, do you want to save the key in this particular location? Yes, enter. And it says it's already exists because I already did it. That's fine. I will overwrite it. And don't enter any passphrase here. That is the main thing that we are doing. Since you won't enter here, that's why it's called passwordless, because you're not going to set up any password for this. Almost done. And now your keys are generated, public key and private key, but you are only going to put your public keys in this authorized keys, so that whenever somebody lies, they can get authorized automatically. And then you are going to change your permissions. You need to change that so that other services can uh, access it. Usually it will be with different users names, so that's why you need to open up. 7 means everything for the user who created it, 5 is for the group, 5 is for other. That's it. So how do you test if it is actually working? Let's do localhost SSH. It should not ask any password and log into you successfully. You are seeing the same user. The reason being we SSH to the same system from the same user, so you won't see anything. But you can read this message, which just tells you that it was successful. And if you do exit, it should still stay in it. It should say log out, connection closed. So that confirms you that your SSH worked successfully. Then the next step is to set up HDFS name node, and the first command you issue is the name node format. You need to do format it, and it's saying invalid Hadoop common home. Okay, that is weird. See, this is what I talk about. Anytime, last time when I set it up, it worked fine. Anyways, so let's not waste our time. Let's go to our bash RC and let's add everything here. So I have a couple of variables here. I'm going to add all of them. We already have Hadoop home and we have Hadoop yarn home as well. So let's go and add a couple of others just to make sure that we don't get any of these errors. And by the way, the home for all of them is the same directory, just so you know, but it should find that. Okay. So now you have common and whatnot. Just add these three. So I'm going to put these in the our directory as well so that you won't miss it. Okay, now let's come back here. Let's do our source dot bash rc. Let's hope it works. Let's try this again. Okay, it's okay. It's saying // does not exist. Why is it going there? Why is it has slash? Did I put 2 slashes or somewhere here? No, I didn't put any slash here. See, these are all new kind of errors that I'm getting. You know the blunder? Maybe you guys are laughing at this. I, instead of Java home, I went ahead and put mine in here. No wonder why it was complaining. You guys might be laughing like, oh, this guy, let's see if he figures it out or not. Well, there you go. I identified it. Good for me. And let me remove this one. You don't need to put that one. Usually they will put a slash. So that's the issue. I think even before the error before that is because of that, I'm assuming. All right, now it works. That's why I didn't get the error last time. So don't do that. Don't put it in the Hadoop home. You might be yelling at me like, don't put it there. Okay, so we are going to now that's it. Name node after name node format. Just type start DFS for the to start the HDFS data node and name node. Enter. Since we already put the sbin in our path, just enter this. That is fine. You don't need to put the path where the script actually is. So it's saying name node, data node, secondary name node. Secondary name node is a backup for name nodes. Since everything is on one cluster, I don't know why I did this. So once you did it, there is a shortcut to see if they are actually running or not. It is called JPS, and it should show you your name node, data node, and secondary name node. That's it. Your HDFS is started and running. Now let's do the yarn. Let's start yarn. Okay, I don't know. My computer became slow all of a sudden. Yarn.sh. This should start my resource manager and node manager. All right. Now let's do the JPS again. And it should show you all these services running successful. Data node, name node, secondary name node, web proxy server, node manager, resource manager. That's about it. That's our installation of Hadoop. And if it ran till here, or if you set up If all the services were running, that's about it. You successfully set up Hadoop, Yarn, as well as HDFS. Now let's go into our next big thing, which is the Hive, which is what we wanted to do in the first place. Why do we want to do it in the Hive in the first place? Well, you will see it in a minute. Let's go to here and click on this link. This link will be provided in the setup guide. Click on the bin.tar. It will download it. So let me close this. I already have it in my downloads, which you can see here. Okay, we are looking at 4.1, which is almost the latest version. So let's come here. What is our drill? You can go to downloads and tar zxvf Apache Hive. Once you unzip it, you should see a folder which is called Apache Hive, and you know the usual drill from the setup guide. What you will do is move Apache to /home/the and Hive. We are going to create a folder in there which is called Hive. Okay, so let's go cd Hive, and you should have all the files in here, and you should have all these files. If anything you don't see, then you were moving or something didn't happen properly. Okay, downloading part is done. What is the next thing? Of course, configuring it. Just like Hadoop, it has a folder where its configuration files are, and this is named appropriately. It's called conf. Now you won't see any files, but they will have like templates. What you are going to do is you are going to copy this, and it's like a backup, right? If you messed up your settings file and if you want to go back to your base file, then we will still have the templates. So I'm just going to issue a copy. What is the config file that we're going to handle first? We are going to do the Hive settings. There is no Hive site. It's the Hive default, actually. That's what it is named. Paste it. I'm copying dot template, but I'm going to name it Hive site.xml. Okay, let's enter it. Now let's go here and let's go to home, Hive conf, and this is our file that I just created. Okay, this will have a lot of settings, but the settings that we are interested are these. Control F. So you will go to two places, but this is what I'm interested in. Derby. So what is this exactly? Do you know anything about Hive? Well, Hive is Hadoop's data warehouse, you can call it, where you can actually execute SQL queries on top of the data that is stored in HDFS. It's like the external database, right? Now, how does it work? Hive internally, Hive is what? It's not a typical RDBMS where it actually stores the data in its database. No, Hive just stores the schema of the tables that you create, database and tables. All the data will be on HDFS or some other storage system. Hive just stores the schema. Where does it store? It stores in a Metastore. Metastore is nothing but a database. So Hive stores all the schema in a database that do you link up with Hive. And guess what? Hive is dispatched with an embedded Derby database for its Metastore. So you don't have to set up any other database. The Derby database, it is memoryless. Hence, it is better to provide a definite location for it. We provide that location in, you guessed it, Hive site.xml. Right? For that, we just moved the default XML template to Hive site.xml, and we are here in the Hive site.xml, and this is the value that you are going to change. What are you going to change it to? Where is this? It's already says it's a JDBC connecting to the Derby database, and the database name is this, but it's a location where you want to put the file in, and the location I'm going to tell it is this one. You can give whatever location you want, but I'm telling to put it in the Hive Metastore there. and Control S. All right, and close this. Not this one, this one. You can close this as well. We don't need that anyways. Let's come back. Done. The next one we are going to config is the Hive env itself. Okay. Now let's go back here. This one. Let's open with text editor. And what are we going to do here? We are going to change the Hadoop home. We are telling where my Hadoop is. It says bin blah 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 blah, but I don't want to give that. Instead, I will give it where actually my Hadoop home is. So you can put dollar Hadoop home as well, but that's fine. Let's be literal and put this one there. That's it. You give it, and then what do we do? As usual, you come here and you will put some variables which are Hive home, you guessed it, and that's it. We are putting the Hive in the path so that whenever you execute Hive executable, it doesn't look, you don't have to give this entire location. Instead, it will pick it from the path. Okay. So are we done here? Of course not. Now we have to create data warehouse directories. Hive is what? Data warehouse, right? So whenever you create tables, you can create tables that are built on top of HDFS, or you can copy the data into Hive data warehouse, which is again, you have two options. Either you can have local directories or HDFS. You are actually going to use HDFS to store the files in a location on HDFS. So that is the location we are going to give. And how are you going to do that? We using the HDFS command, nothing here. So this one, since we set it up here, let's go ahead and do the source before I forget about it. Okay, done. Now, if you hit HDFS, then it will, you can do all the these are the commands that you can actually implement using HDFS. Okay, it's like S3 client using S3 CLI and not S3 but AWS CLI, and you can do all operations that you can do on console from that. Similarly here. Anyways, what are we doing here? We are just creating a directory. How do you do it? HDFS works similar to your Unix commands, but this is what you are going to put before. HDFS DFS is normal. Then you are going to tell, I'm going to make a directory. And when you give -p, it is going to create all these directories. Like under user, it will create Hive. Under Hive, it will create warehouse. So like hierarchy. And I'm creating two directories. One is this, another one is this in a one go. Okay, it's created. Now I'm going to change the properties of those two folders by hitting this. So if you want to see what are my folders in here, you can type this. ls is the list command on Unix. No such file or directory. Oh, maybe this is not the command. Is it this? No, it's not it. It is ls. See? Okay, I guess I know. It's been a while I have used. Maybe I need to give this so that it will show me in that directory. You need to tell where you are listing the files. I'm telling root directory. It says it has two directories in it. I want to see what is in user, and you can see it has Hive in it. And if you see the same thing in temp, it will show me Hive as well. So those are the directories I have right now. Okay, so once you do this, if you want to set up Hive on Derby, you need to initiate schema. What does that mean? Well, in order for Hive to actually use its Metastore, Hive has so many tables that it wants to create in its Metastore. So how do you do that? You have two options. Actually, Hive gives you all those tables script that you can use and execute on the Metastore, which you will find it here. All here, like Derby, you will have all this you need to execute. But that is too much work for us. I mean, for this one, you only have one file, but if you open this, you will be overwhelmed. We don't want to do it manual. Technically, that's what I'm trying to say. So how do you automatically do it? Well, there is a command. If you execute that, it will automatically does that for you, which is this one. Okay. But I'm not going to do that because the whole purpose of us having Hive is for two reasons. One is we will some Spark we will use Hive as a source and target where we will read and write to it. Another is we are going to have PostgreSQL as Hive's Metastore. By default, it comes with Derby, but we are going to set up PostgreSQL as its Metastore so that all the tables and etc. will be stored on that. Okay, that is the main reason why we are doing all this. Which means we are going to set up Postgre. Again, PostgreSQL, we are going to use it for multiple purposes in this particular masterclass. One, you have guessed it, as the Metastore database for Hive, and the other purpose is to use it as a source and target from our Spark application. So you will also get to see build Spark applications where you will connect it to PostgreSQL. Got it? So two birds with one stone. Now the next step is before the schema setup, we are going to set up PostgreSQL. Yes, and it's not that hard, trust me. Since we are on Ubuntu, just execute this particular command: sudo apt install PostgreSQL. Okay, I already installed it. That's why it's saying you already installed it and you have the latest version. That's fine. We are not worried about all that. And once you have that, you need to check the status once it's installed and everything, if it is running or not. And as you can see, it is active and it is running successfully. Okay. By default, when you do the sudo install, it automatically enables it, starts it for you. So you don't have to do all that. Now, what's next after this? Well, you need to log into it and create a user. How do you do that? Using this particular command. Then it is going to be changing the user as the PostgreSQL and then execute the command spsql. Then you are in the PostgreSQL client or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Here we are going to execute any PostgreSQL commands that you want to execute. And what are we going to execute? The first one is creating the user. Okay, we are going to create the user. How do you create the user? Using this particular command. I already created it, but for your sake, I'm going to create a dummy one, which I will call it this. You can call whatever you want, but I'm going to create this one. My actual one is pSQL user, but in order to show you guys, that's what you do. And you need to create a database so that our Metastore can be stored. And this is what I'm going to use, but for this sake, I'm going to call these ones. And your database is created. Now, how do you switch to your database? You are going to say /c and PyMetastore1. Okay, now you are connected to this particular Metastore. Got it? Now, once you do this, the next thing is again setting up our schema for our Hive, right? Again, two things. You can do that in two ways. You can come here, go to a PostgreSQL, and you have the SQL you can execute, which I am not going to do. But instead, I will do it from Hive itself. And what did I say? How you can do that? You can do that by running the schema init, which I will show you in a minute. But before you can do all that stuff, there are certain things that you need to do. What are those? The Hive will connect to PostgreSQL using a command that I am going to give you, something like this. Because this is the user I am going to give in Hive and this is the database. It will try to execute something like this. And it worked for me, but it won't work for you when you initially set up PostgreSQL. Why? Because it won't allow you. So you need to tell PostgreSQL to trust anything coming from certain ports and whatnot. So how do you tell it? Well, you need to first of all become the root. Okay, how do you become the root? Use executing this command. Got it? And then you are going to go into this folder. Oh, sorry, I need to execute my, let me cancel this. Go, enter the password. And now you are in the root. Be careful what you're doing as a root, because root has all the permissions in the world. Now go to this particular folder. Here you will have a file called pg_hb_conf, and I cannot edit it from here because it's a very secured file. The only thing you can edit is using root, and here I don't know how to turn my user into root, and I cannot edit it. So instead I will do it from here. And I'm going to use my favorite editor, vi. If you are comfortable with vim, go ahead and do that. Click enter and scroll till the end. You will see, forget about these three, but you will see these three. You can see this one, this one, this one. By default you will have some different values here, not this, but you need to change them to trust. Okay, I did them. Once you do that, escape colon wq, so it will write and quit. That's it, done. Now if you go and execute the previous command I showed you, you exit out of root first, and if you go and execute this command, it should connect like this for you as well. Got it? Now, so far good. This is working. I'm connecting to my PostgreSQL. Everything is good, but I need to tell Hive to use this user and this database somehow, right? How do I do that? Well, it's not that hard. You have your Hive conf, Hive site XML, go edit it. And then you have to edit. Remember the connection URL that we have seen previously where we have told it the location for Derby? Well, now it's not going to be Derby anymore. It's going to be PostgreSQL. So we need to tell that. So this is how you do that. Replace this till here. Actually till here. So we are telling it's through JDBC connection. PostgreSQL is the database, local host, and the port for PostgreSQL, and this is the database. Okay, and the next parameter is this one, and again these are all I have put, so don't worry about it. So you go here, the driver name, here it is using Derby driver, but you should not be using that. Instead you should tell it to use PostgreSQL driver. Save it. The next name is, you need to tell it the username, which username it has to use to connect to the database. And here it says app, but that's not going to work. Use the whatever username you have provided. The username that I created is pSQL user. And you need to give the password as well. Which is not this. Let's go to the next one. Here you go. And it says mine, but the password I have given for that user on the PostgreSQL is this one. Save it. And then you have a couple of other settings you need to edit as well, which is the Hive Metastore warehouse directory. Right now it is pointing to the physical directory, but I want to use the remote directory on HDFS. So I'm going to give that appropriately, because remember we gave it a remote directory localhost colon 9745. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember it. Anyways, that's that. And also paste the same thing for the external, which you will see something like this. You know what? Just copy this one and paste it here. Okay. Same thing for the Metastore warehouse directory, warehouse external directory, both are going to be the same. Then the next thing you are going to do is, there is another property, which is this one. I think it's not in Hive. I think it's not Hive. I think this is in the Hadoop side. So let's go there. Hadoop, etc Hadoop. and this is a setting for HDFS. And we had only this one, so we are going to add this property to it. I remember adding this somewhere else. That's fine. Let's add it here as well, just to be sure. Now, that is one setting. This is in the HDFS, right? So let me put that here. And then the next thing you are going to do is edit the core site as well. There is some setting that you need to add there as well. I should have done this before, but we are doing this for the Hive. So that's why we did it. So you don't see anything there, right? So let's add these two parameter properties as well for the proxy users. So we are just telling that when you connect to Hive from Beeline, it uses a user. So we are just telling the proxy user anything. The value can be anything. Just accept it, give it the hosts and groups. Let them. Hive doesn't matter which user it is and whatnot. So that's what it is going to be. Okay. So far good. So let's exit out of this. Right now, let's check if our HDFS is running or not. HDFS is important because remember our external data warehouse for Metastore is HDFS, so it has to be up and running. You can also issue this command to see if your HDFS is running or not by doing DFS admin report. It will give you the data node and your name node details. Okay, now we are going to issue our awesome thing. So before coming there, let me do something. Drop database Metastore, because I think last time when I created it might have copied and did it. So I'm going to do that and then I'm going to create it again so that it will be empty. It won't have anything. Okay, as you can see, it did. Now if I issue /dt, it is going to show me all the tables in there. Since there are no tables in the database Metastore, am I using Metastore? I am a Metastore one. So let me go use Metastore as well. Okay, now I'm in there. If I issue /dt, I should not see any databases. Relations is nothing but database. Okay, now let's go back here and execute our awesome command that I was telling you about. So once you enter this and you need to tell the database, it is going to automatically create all the tables that are required for the target database to be Hive Metastore. And it failed, of course. Failed to load. Oh, I missed a very important step. I mentioned it the driver, but you need to copy the PostgreSQL driver to Hive. I am thinking like I'm missing something. I'm missing something. Where? Yep. See, that's why I'm executing the commands from the setup guide so that I'm not missing anything. Okay, I missed this step. The step is you need to download PostgreSQL JDBC driver. And how are you going to do that? Using this particular link, I already have it. I had the link, but for some reason I missed it. No worries, no worries. I have everything right now. Okay, let's go here, paste this link, enter. And here you will see different versions, and the version I am going to use is, I think I already downloaded. Which one I downloaded? 7.2, which is kind of almost latest. I always don't go with the latest, but this one. Okay, so download that, and then you are going to have the jar right here. And now once you have the jar, what you need to do is you need to copy it to the Hive directory so that it will know where to look for all its drivers. And where is the directory located? I don't have it here, but I know where it is. Let me show you that. Let's go here. We are going to copy the, where is it? In the downloads. Postgres jar. Where are we? Slash, not slash, Hive. Go to Hive, and there is a folder called lib, and copy there. So if you go to home, Hive, lib is the directory where you will have all the drivers. You can see different database drivers, and PostgreSQL, it was not there before. Let me click P. Oh, it is right here. So I just copied it here. Now the previous command that failed, right? Because it couldn't find the driver. Now it won't fail because we placed it. It will successfully get the driver, and see that it is creating all the tables and data that is required for the Metastore. Done. Now, how do I know these tables are actually created on Postgres? Simple. We are in the Metastore, right? Just hit this command that I created before. Now, previously it said no relations. Now you can see all the relations. These are all the tables that Hive needs for this database to operate as a Metastore. That's it. It's simple, isn't it? So let me go ahead and copy these commands for the guide. Okay, I already have this, so we are good. All right, so that's about it for the installation. It is something little bit involved, but that's fine. It's not like we are going to do it all the time. Next thing we are going to do is run the Metastore service itself. We need to execute the Metastore service. This is the command. You could directly give Hive, but I just gave this one. That's fine. So it's just going to run the service Metastore. This is just piping the output that comes from here. This is Metastore out logs and dot logs, different kind of logs. We are telling it to pipe it to these two files. Now it says no such file or directory. That's fine because it's saying that this directory does not exist. So you can cancel this. And what we will do is we will just create mkdir this directory. Okay. Now we should be good. Let's go and execute this again. So it executed, but we don't know if it ran successfully or not. How do you make sure that the Metastore is running successfully or not? Well, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how you can do that. Well, we clearly know that Metastore, maybe we don't clearly know, but Metastore normally runs on a port called 9083. So we are telling list all the ports that are open on my server or data computer, and grep look for this one if it is running or not, and it clearly says it is running successfully, which means our Metastore is running. Once you have Metastore up and running, the next thing we are going to run is, what is it? Our Hive server 2. Okay, Hive server 2 you need to run because we are going to use beeline, which is like a command line tool for Hive, and you need to have Hive server 2 running. So it usually runs on port 10,000. That's what we are telling. And there are a couple of settings. Irrespective of what settings you have in the Hive config file, this will overwrite it. If everything you set up is nice, like your Hive Metastore, everything, then it should show something similar to this, and somewhere it should show the 1000. It's available in 1000. If it is not, that's fine. Let's exit here, and I'm going to check, similar to the Metastore, I'm going to check if this is available, and it is not. That is bad because it should be. Something is not working. So the problem that I'm seeing is it started. If you look at the process and search for Hive, it is running, but it's not making the Hive server available on this particular port, which is important. If you have to do this, then it has to be available there, but it's not making it available. So let's see why it is not. All right. So after I spent a lot of time, I found out that what I'm doing wrong is I'm just not being patient. Unfortunately, the Hive server 2, it is taking some time to start. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me kill those two services that I have, which are the Metastore and then Hive server 2. Now, very good. We need to do a couple of settings as well. I will show you in a minute. So you know what? Let's do that. One of them is the logs. Logs was bugging me like anything. It's printing there instead of writing it to the log file. So what I did is I did a little bit change. I'm going to show you that now. And that is, by the way, I have put this in the setup guide. Maybe I already have it open here. Oh yeah, you will have, if you go into the conf folder, you will have this particular file, rename it to this, and then edit it, which will be somewhere here. And I haven't done anything in here. All I did is rename that file to the properties. That's it. Didn't do anything. Once you do that, um, create a directory called logs in this particular folder. Okay, that's fine. That is all fine. Okay, now let's come back. Now I am trying to execute. First thing we execute is Metastore. So you run this command. Okay, it's gone. And how do you check its status? Using this, you can try to find either of those ports if they are open. Metastore, no problem whatsoever. It returns you the status quickly, so you are fine. But the problem with this Hive is I'm going to use a similar command and I'm telling I'm writing my logs to that and that directory anyways. Good. Now let me look at that file. You need to do this as well. I think I'm doing it somewhere. Tail. Tail is like if something is writing to a file, it will show you that live. So that's what I'm doing here, which is the log. So now you see these two wait. What I was doing before is I was not being patient. So I'm checking 1 and 2 and then I'm going and checking. Oh no, I ran it again. My God. Instead of running this, I was not again. That's fine. So I'm trying to run it immediately, right? And I'm saying it's not showing and then I'm killing. But what you need to do is, okay, let me rerun this. It ran it twice. So yeah, nothing is there. So let me check grep hive. I do have this here. So let me go and kill it instead. Okay. Now I should only have my Metastore running that I can prove it from here. Cool. Okay, that is cool. Now let me go and run my Hive server 2 again. Let me tail that file if I can. Okay, once, twice. Wait for the third one to come up. It will take some time, but what I noticed is after the third Hive session ID is displayed, if you check this, it is going to show you that it is up. Okay, let me run this command. Okay, nothing, only Metastore because we didn't see the third one yet. So let's give it a minute. This was my first struggle, you know. I spent a lot of time yesterday and today, and all I was doing was not being patient. Okay, anytime soon. See, still one, still one. Okay, third hit. Now come and check. As you can see, it's up now, right? So all you have to do is wait for some time for the third one to be visible in the log. Then check it's available. I think it's taking that long for it to be connected. If something is going wrong behind the scenes, I don't know, but it is taking time. So that was my first hurdle. And second hurdle is now, since 10,000 is up, you need to connect to your beeline using this particular command. Now, initially, if you run this, it will complain about impersonating XYZ. So for that, what you have to do is go back to your core site XML. Remember, this is core site XML, which you will have it in the Hadoop. Previously, we added these two, but I forgot to add if it is Sthitapragna, because we are running our processes as Sthitapragna. You can check that by going to, I can cancel this log now. I don't want to tail it anymore. So if you go to and you grep Hive, under which user are they running? Under Sthitapragna. So Sthitapragna tries to impersonate into something which it says it's unable to do it. So we will tell that anytime you want to do that, it's fine. Go ahead and impersonate like anything, etc. So we did it for Hive. We didn't do it for. So I added this as well. And don't worry about it. I put it somewhere. I will put it under when we are editing the core site. Okay, I haven't put it. I will put it. Core site. Where is this? Here you go. Okay, that's another thing that I have faced. Then when I enter it, it will go through. And then my third hurdle, which is now it is not showing, but it would show. Um, yeah, I think the impersonating and what will. Yeah, there was some issues with some scratch directory variables, whatnot. So for that, what you have to do is you need to go to Hive, and in here you have a couple of settings. By the way, I have put those properties that are causing this issue. So these variables, not this one, not this one. Yeah, here you will have them like colon sys dot something something. I guess either it is not getting its value or something. It was failing, so I hard coded it to this. And there are, I guess, 4 or 5. Let me show you those properties here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to go and change this to the respective values. Got it? Once you do that, bingo, you are in. But now we need to test if we are able to actually connect it to the Metastore, which is the PostgreSQL or not, or if it is working. So let's hit this command and create a database. It worked fine, but now I don't know if it is actually created on the Postgre. So let me go ahead and log into the Postgre. If you remember, this is how we do it. And by the way, I'm logging as PSQL user, not as the default PostgreSQL. Okay. So now how will you list all the databases that are created under Hive? You are going to select from this. DBs is the table that Hive created. Under this table, you will have all the databases that are in the that you created through Hive. So it will show you the default and the one that I created just now. This I created it a while ago to test if it is working or not, and successfully you can see it did. Let's create a table as well. In order to do that, first let's go and create it in our. So let's create another database. This is a dummy database that I created. The database that I want to create is cert cloud projects. If you know this website, right? This is the website that is hosting all our episode quizzes and uh, interview questions, and the setup guide will be on this as well. By now you will know it because of the link in the descriptions. Now this got created, but if you want to use the database, cert cloud projects. Okay, so now whatever you do, it will be under this particular Uh, Sorry, I think it got closed. So let me reconnect. I didn't issue the semicolon. So, okay, now it is using that. And let's create a simple table. I will say create table books, and let's say book name, that is the column, and the type is string, and book writer type is string. I think that should be fine. And then you need to tell how is your data. So I'm going to say the data in this, because again, as I said, this is a Hive table. You need to tell how your data is delimited, and you need to tell fields how your fields are terminated. So this is a comma delimited, so don't forget to put the semicolon. Enter. Okay, it displayed you all this, but you don't know if it created it successfully or not. How will you confirm? Just like we did for database, you can go here, right? This displays your databases. Similarly, you have another table. So let's start from, it is called TBLS tables. It will show you all the tables it created, and as you can see, it shows you there is one table which is the books, which is an external table. Got it? So this just confirms you that you successfully set everything up. Correct? Hope you enjoyed the installation of Hadoop, Hive, PostgreSQL, and then setting up PostgreSQL as Hive Metastore on Ubuntu so far. We are going to repeat the same on Windows for Windows users. All right, so the first step is to install Hadoop. And how are we going to install Hadoop? It's going to be easy. Let's open this. Let me close this. And the URLs and everything that I am going to use, they will be in our setup guide. And the setup guide is going to be on our website, which I will show you in a minute. First, let's open command prompt because we need to have Java as a prerequisite. By now, you already know that, don't you? And since we already set up Spark, you should have Java. But I went ahead and deleted the Java from my path environment variables because I'm going to show you how to set it up if you haven't set it up. But Java is there on my system. If I go to my, let's see, where did I install Java? I think it's in here. So this is what I want to show you to you guys. So basically Java is in program files, but there is a space. That space is going to cause an issue for Hadoop. So I'm going to trick it in a way, so which we will see. But you can execute Java if you wish to, like from here. I don't know if I can give it like this. And as you can see, it is there. Java is there. It's just uh, this particular program is not being found. Why? Because the path, this path where Java binary is or executable is, it should be in the path. Whatever variables you put, they will be in memory. So whenever you execute something, it checks all the folders in the environment variables, and if it finds in any of the path, then it will result or give us the result. If it doesn't like this, it will say it didn't recognize because we don't have this path in the variables environment because there is a space. It is going to cause issues with Hadoop, not within regular. I can just go ahead and add this to the path. It will work for me for executing here, but Hadoop will cause complaints. So we are going to create a link for this. Okay, it's going to be a shortcut link instead of spaces. That link will not have any spaces. That we will see in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and download. You will have the link here, right here. So first you will run that and check if you have your Java installed or not. And you should have already installed Java. And I'm going to use Java 8 because during Spark setup we had issues with other versions. By the way, I'm not going to use Hadoop this version. I don't know why I have that link. I am going to install 3.3.6. So let me update that. And you are going to click on, I have no idea why I have this. So let me just try Hadoop download. Click on this. We are going to 3.3.6. Click on this. So this is what I meant to put. Now click on this and it will download it for you. I think I already have it, so I'm not going to download it. So now go to downloads. You should have this. Right click on it. If you don't have 7-zip, install 7-zip, which is free. Extract it to the tar. Then you will have this folder. Open this folder. Then you will have another zip. What we can do is you can go open this and copy the folder inside this, or I'm just going to go here, extract here. It is going to complain some symbolic links, that's fine. Okay, so once you have the directory, I highly recommend you to place this in the C. Okay, if you place it somewhere and if there are spaces, then it will cause issues. So I would highly recommend you to place it in the C directory. You can have the version just like this to remember if you have multiple versions. So I will leave it like that. So that's what we downloaded. And again, as I mentioned, the next step is the Java problem. How do we solve the Java problem? So for that, let's open this one. And what you are going to do is run this particular command. What it does is it will create the links for all those in that particular directory. But what I wanted to do instead was, since my program files is in C, so I will do that. Now it created a link for any folder that is here, which are these. So I'm only interested in this though, and it created me this link. Copy that. So I'm going to update this with by removing this. Okay. Now save that somewhere if you remember it. What is it? Program, then the tilde symbol and one. Let's go ahead and download these two files because on Windows we need these two files installed in our bin directory. So where can you get that? Again, copy this link, go here, paste it. Maybe I should put this not here but here. That would make sense. Okay, let's go download this by clicking on this and download. And remember, you need to download the exact Hadoop version file. So click on the download raw file. Similarly, go to the WinUtil.exe. Click on the download raw file. Do I have it? If not, I need to download it. I don't have those files, so let me download them as well. I'll just download it here for now. Okay, we need this to remember that. Okay, that's done. Then we are going to edit the configuration for Hadoop core site. Core site is like common files or common environment variables for the Hadoop. So what you are going to do, where will you find this? As it is mentioned here, wherever, this just means wherever you installed it. If it is C slash, I didn't put the um, base directory because you might have installed it somewhere else. Remember, you can install it anywhere. Just make sure you don't have any spaces in the folders path. Okay, let me copy this. And since I installed it here in C here, where do I have to go to? EC2, sorry, ETC Hadoop. Then you have something called course site. Right click, edit if you have Notepad++. I have it, so I'm going to do that. So copy paste it. Make sure you only have one configuration. Okay, clearly here I don't have one configuration, so let me remove that. How did this end up here? Hmm. Okay, so let me go here, remove that. I hope these two belong in here. Yeah. Okay. Now, similarly, let's go to HDFS site and have these two. And you should have HDFS site XML here, right? Now copy paste this two. Okay. And by the way, this is not where it is. So let me remove that. I am not being consistent, am I? Oh, you know what? Yeah, let me. It will confuse people. That's why I might have put it here. If I remove this, they might not know what to do with that. Okay. So you stored that and you already ran this. We have it. So you got this one. So what you do is go to the Hadoop env.command and make sure you get your Java location. If you are wondering how do I get my Java location, where is it? Usually on Windows, um, it will be in this particular location, program files Java. You can check that and get that. If it is Linux, I used to do which. I don't know if this works here. Yeah, it doesn't. Never mind. So let's go to the next directory, which is Hadoop env dot command, not shell. We are not in Ubuntu. So go and edit the .cmd file as I have mentioned it here. And somewhere you should have this one. Just remove this and do this. Remember, there should not be any spaces. I am repeating it again and again. Okay, that is done. Now, this is just a recommendation. If you can install everything in the C directory directly, because there is no chance of having spaces. Okay. Now let's go and set up our environment variables. You can do it in two ways. You can go to environment variables here and you can add them here manually, or the smart way is to just run these. Okay, so my Hadoop is in here. Okay, so I'm going to run one at a time, and remember, run them in the PowerShell. Okay, that's saved. That's my Java home, and this is my Hadoop home, and this is the Hadoop OPTs options, and it threw me an error. Why? Because default option is not okay. What did we do? All right, let's do this. Let's just put on Windows. This is Windows, right? So let's try this one. Oh, that worked. Just put quotes around it. And finally, we are going to add sbin and bin. If you don't know, in Hadoop, bin will have the um, binaries to execute our services like HDFS, YARN, and whatnot. SBIN will have scripts to start your services, stop your services. Go check those folders out to get familiarized with where the scripts are. I added it. Now, if I go here, I should see them. Okay. So instead of coming here and adding it, I added it from there. It's that simple. And once you do this, restart this, because whatever variables you set needs to be taken effect. If you want them to be taken effective in this session, do that. By the way, there might be a command in Ubuntu or Linux. We do source dot, your profile file like bash rc, right? There might be a command, but I don't know. So I just restarted it. It's up to you. Now we set it up, but let's do some quick diagnostics, shall we? So let's see if these are actually set or not. So open PowerShell. Remember PowerShell, not command prompt. Run them. So this one you should see some directory like this. Hadoop you should see a directory like this, and environment path you should see your Java in the environment path, Hadoop bin and Hadoop S bin. Those are the ones that we set. So they all should be there. Got it? Cool. Next, we are checking if these files are put in the right place. Let's go and do it. And the first one failed, second one failed. Why? Because I have not yet copied. See, that's why making sure those files are actually there makes sense. So Hadoop bin, oh sorry, wrong folder. It's going to my old folder. So let's go here and bin, paste it. What happened? Okay, Control X, Control V. Now if I run these commands again, now it shows it exists. These are my paths, but what we tested is if this environment variable is working or not. And my Hadoop, now you can see it resulted in. So everything is in place, which is good. So now we are going to actually check if their configs are actually in use or not. Those configuration files that we modified. So let's paste it. Okay, this you can see the first one. Okay, nice. You can read it. The environment variables, everything it can read it. There are no mistakes, which is good. So far everything looks good, correct? Um, Next, let's check if our Windows utils was properly being picked by it or not. So yes, it should not say not found. If it says not found, which means somewhere your setup didn't work out for it. In our case, it didn't, so which is good. And let's check our Hadoop version, shall we? Okay, somewhere it's complaining file name, directory name, volume label, syntax is incorrect. Okay, hold on a minute. Terminate, yes. I think uh, we are not supposed to run that yet because we haven't uh, where was that? I missed one step. We are supposed to format the HDFS. I guess it is missing. Let me add that. All right, never mind. I was just not being patient enough, I guess. Even though it showed this error, somewhere something is it's throwing an error, but I just waited a couple of seconds and then it printed this. Uh, I promise you, I have not done anything. If you have followed my setup, you could wait and it will show that. But I'm just concerned. This is a concern where it is throwing because this might create a problem. Somewhere, I guess the Pro Java is causing this issue. Not sure where it is. Um, so you know what? Let me quickly check some of these. Okay, let's continue with our setup. We'll see if there will be any issues. But yeah, you don't need the this step before it, but we are going to do that immediately before this one. Okay, so once we did this, we are going to create these directories which we would need right now before we set up HDFS. HDFS is the Hadoop storage system, data storage. So we are going to need that. We are going to use it to store and query read data from Spark. The reason we are using installing Hadoop is for two reasons, right? One is to use the HDFS for storage. Another one is Hive. We are going to store tables in Hive and we are going to read and write to it. Okay. Oops. It's not these. I need to change this. Whichever directory you install, I am installing it in C, so that's where I am going to do that. You would need name node and data node. Name node is the server where Hadoop stores all the information of the file names, file. It When you put a file, it divides them into chunks and it stores the chunks on data node. Data node is the place where you will have actual data in files divided up by chunks. So let's say if a file is divided into 10 chunks, then those 10 chunks will be distributed among different data nodes. So the information of which chunk belongs to which file in on which location or which server, all that is stored in name node's memory. So we need to create these directories so that name node will be any data related to it will be saved there, and data nodes data will be saved in this location. Since we are only setting up it in one cluster, both, but in production you will have name node separate server, data node separate servers. Okay, once you do all that, you will hit this particular command format. If everything is set, this should install successfully. Okay, now let's go ahead and start our name node as well as data node. You use this command. By the way, this command is in our Hadoop sbin, which we put in the path, so it should not have any problem. So let it do its thing. And then we'll run this command only if that successfully trigger the services. Okay, so those two are running. Now if I come here, I need to check if my services, usually on Ubuntu you run JPS, but here it is not recognized, but don't worry, we have other commands to check that. One way to check that is checking these nodes, sorry, ports, right? You can see the port is established. That is good. And let me run this one as well. And even on that it is listening. But if you don't know what those ports are used for, as you can see, right, name node ports, but you can also issue this particular command. It will show you uh, all the details regarding your HDFS. Okay, where is data node live, if it is, where it is, and the blocks and whatnot. So to put it in simple terms, both name node and data node are running successfully. Now let's go ahead and run our yarn service. And this is the second item which we are going to use as part of Hadoop setup with Spark. What is this? If you remember, Spark can run on multiple resource managers. One of them is Spark standalone, which comes with Spark. Others are Mesos. I think we are going to set that up as well. We'll see. And then Yarn. So we are going to use Yarn as one of the resource managers for Spark. That's why we are setting it up here. Okay. Yarn is going to set up a couple of services like resource manager, node manager. So let's see how it goes. You can see resource manager connecting. It's trying to connect on 8031. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit this command to see if it is up and running or not. It already went to, yeah. So as you can see, it is running successfully node state. So that's about it. So we have successfully, set up Hadoop that involved HDFS name node, data node, and Yarn's resource manager, node manager, and whatnot. So make sure they are running successfully by running these two commands. The next step is we are going to actually install our Hive. Okay, so we have set up Hadoop successfully. Now let's go ahead and set up Hive. And I did start with initially I tried to install the 4.1.0 version, which we installed on Ubuntu. Unfortunately, if you remember, we are using Java 8, and Hive 4.1 is not compatible with Java 8. So then I went with 4.0.1, which is fully compatible with 8. It doesn't matter. It's not like we want to see some have the latest version of Hive or anything like that. So um, let's go ahead and set up Hive on Windows, shall we? And it's little bit more involved than Ubuntu, because as I mentioned, Hadoop and other services are designed for Linux, not for Windows. So there were other things that you need to set up in order to make them work on Windows. You have already seen that you would need these two files for to make Hadoop work. Similarly, there are some couple of settings or tools that we need to install in order to make this happen. That being said, we are going to set up the Hive Metastore. Hive comes with, if you don't know what Hive is basically a data warehouse on Hadoop, right? If you have Hadoop ecosystem and if you want to have a data warehouse, that's Hive. Hive doesn't store the data. It doesn't. It's not like a database. All it does is it stores the schema of the table in a database, and that database you can configure it to be anything. Okay, and the data resides in HDFS. So technically, you are building tables on top of HDFS so that you can query using SQL. That's basically why you use Hive. Okay. Now, Hive comes with a database which is Derby by default, where it stores any table database that you create in Hive. But to make it spicy, I'm going to install PostgreSQL, and we are going to set up Hive Metastore as PostgreSQL. Not just that, and you might be asking, like, why are we installing Hive and all? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, we are going to connect to Hive from Spark to read and write data. Then you might be asking, why PostgreSQL as Metastore? I just wanted to do it to spice it up, as well as we are going to use PostgreSQL connecting from Spark. So I'm going to show you how or teach you how to connect to other databases using JDBC. So we are going to connect it to PostgreSQL. We will read and write to PostgreSQL. So we are going to do use we have two use cases with this particular exercise. Okay. That being said, what are the prerequisites? Prerequisites are, we already have an up and running Hadoop HDFS and PostgreSQL install, which we didn't. We will install it because we want to use it as a metastore. And Java JDK, if you have Hadoop up and running, means you have Java JDK, not JRE. Remember, Hadoop runs with JRE, that's good enough, but for Hive we need JDK. I will show you how to do that as well. And these two files in Hadoop home directory, which we already have, so not a problem. So let's run this and check if we have the uh, Java installed and running, which is installed and running, no problem. But so far, I think we have set up the JRE as the home directory, if I remember the Hadoop. But here we need to change it to the JDK. And if you followed me and installed Java 1.8, we have installed the JDK, but we never pointed the JDK as the home directory. So in this setup, during this setup, we are going to do exactly that. Okay. And what else? Let's check this to see if our Hive services are not Hive, HDFS services are running. And when I run this, it's saying that it cannot, which means they're not up. HDFS is not running. If you are just continuing from our previous Hadoop setup, you will have them up and running, but I stopped them and I'm recording this at a different time, so that's why they are not. It's very easy to run them. All you have to do is start dfs.cmd. Okay, then it will open one for name node, one for data node, and it will execute them. But how do I know they're actually up and running? Well, all you need to do is you can run this particular command that will give you the report on name node and data node. And looks like both are successfully running, so we are good there. Okay, that is done. What is the next step? Then let's go ahead and install PostgreSQL. This is very easy. Installing PostgreSQL, I think the link is right here. So take this and let's go to here, and I have installed 17.6. So click on Windows, and I already have it downloaded on my system, so I'm not, but just save it for you since you are downloading it for the first time. Since we are already here, we need the JDBC driver. Why do we need JDBC driver? Because Hive connects to PostgreSQL using JDBC driver, so we need that. So let's go here, paste that link, and then let's download the 7.6. You can download 7.7. Java 8 is supported as well, but we are going to download 7.6, just one version below it. Click on that, it will get downloaded. Okay, everything is downloaded. What is our next step? Setting up that, of course. So let's go here, downloads, double click on this. Yes, sorry about that. It doesn't matter for this where it is installed, but if you want, install just in the C so that you won't have any spaces. This is for the Postgre. I usually put this one as password. That is the default port. Local default, the time I'm telling it to use my local time instead of UTC or something else. So I will be back once this is installed. All right, it took about 10 to 15 minutes. Complement your, do I need that? For now, let's exit. We don't want that. Okay. So that's that. Once you have that, go and search pSQL. You will have something like that. And we are going to hit enter for local and database Postgres port and username that. And since you already set up your password during the setup, enter that. Now you are logged in as Postgres, which is the admin. Now, why did we do this? Because I'm going to create a user as well as a database. That's why I did that. Okay, this is the username I am creating. You don't have to do that. My username is pSQL user. My password is that. You can create whatever you want. It's complaining because it already exists. I already created it, but you can go ahead. Funny, it didn't delete my database, huh? Okay, maybe it skipped it. It didn't recreate it. That's fine. Just enter this. It will create it. Once you have it, execute this particular command. That will create the database that we will use for the Hive Metastore. Oh no, I pasted the same command again, which is this one. Okay, the Metastore name I gave is py Metastore owner. This is very important. You are going to give the owner as this user because this is the user you are going to use to connect from Hive to PostgreSQL. And since Hive creates couple of tables, not couple of, it creates plenty of tables in PostgreSQL so that it can actually accept PostgreSQL as the Metastore. So do this. Since I already have it, I guess it will fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this database because it might already have some tables in it. So I will say drop database Metastore. Okay, it dropped. Now I'm going to execute this again. and it's created. That's it. So far, that's all we are going to do. If you want to switch to the PyMetastore database, this is the command you will use. And it says that you switched to this one. But it says using this user, not our user. That's fine. Uh, and if you want to see the tables that are available here, you can /dt. And I wanted to prove that this is empty right now. It doesn't have any tables. But once we execute a certain script Hive gives, it will have all the tables and databases that you need. Not database, but Hive tables that you need for Hive Metastore. Okay, so far we are good. PostgreSQL is set up. We created a user, we created a database for our Hive Metastore. Now let's go ahead and download Hive. And downloading Hive is not that hard. Where is the URL? Why do I always miss this URL? Okay, let's go to our Ubuntu setup. I guess there will be a URL there. I am very sure. Okay, here we go. We set up 4.1.0 there because on Ubuntu we had 17, Java 17, but here we have Java 8. So let's not go with that. And let me click here. Let's go here. And let's remove this and let's go a folder back. Okay, I will put this one there so that you guys won't have hard time. So the version I'm going to download is 4.0.1 because this is supported by Java 8. This is not. This is supported by 17 and above. So let's go click on that and click on this one. Then it will ask you to save it and download that. I already have that file with me, so I'm not going to re-download it. This is the file. Right click. I use 7-zip. You use that as well. It is awesome. Click on extract to this. And then you are going to have this star folder, not this one. Recently, I have noticed the problem with Windows downloads. Not this one, this one. This is another version. So once you have this, go there, right click, again unzip, zip to this one. Then you will have this folder. Now copy it, go to C and paste it here. We are going to paste it in C. Remember, anywhere, not anywhere else. You can do it, but make sure you don't have any spaces. So I'm going to name this that so that I can have multiple versions on my system. It's up to you what you name it, but that's what I do. You should have all these folders once you copy it. Okay, what is the next step we are going to do? We extracted it and moved it. We are going to set up Hive home and bin. So you can execute this as is. There is no problem with this. At least with this one, there is no problem. You can go ahead and do this. It is going to add the environment variable in the environment variables here. You will see here, right? But the problem is with the path. When you execute this, what it does is, for example, this is what it does. It is supposed to show something like this when you click on path, all. But when you execute that, it will remove all that, and what it will do is, it will reuse everything that is in this path and just append whatever you are running through the command line, which I didn't like, but I didn't know at that point. I did it. So what I would recommend is to come here and add that location to the path manually. I already have it, as you can see. You can add that as well. I would recommend you to come here and then add that, something like this. C Hive bin. This is the what we are going to add. Okay. Next. So far everything is good. One thing that maybe I should have added it here is the Java JDK, right? If you have followed my previous videos, you would have Java JRE as the Java home, not the JDK. JDK was never put in the path. Instead, the JRE was put in the path. But as I said, for Hive, you need the JDK. Okay. So where will you get the location for JDK? It's the same location. It's in the program files, Java. instead of JRE folder, there will be something called JDK folder, then /bin. That's what you need to add to your path. So when Java gets executed, it will execute from the JDK instead of JRE. You can change the Java home as well here. It doesn't matter. For some reason I haven't, but that's okay. Another problem I have noticed is by default Java is in our, where is it? It's in our program files. And there is a space in the program and files that is going to cause us issues. So basically what you will do is you will create a link, a short link. Okay. That short link, I think it is explained. Where was it? Seriously? I think we already explained it as part of Hadoop. Don't worry. So if you have already created it, you know how it works. I'm forgetting things now. Okay, so we already set all that up. You added Hive home and in the path, so we are good. The next thing we are going to do is the JDBC driver. So you downloaded the JDBC driver. You are going to copy it to this particular folder. Okay, this particular folder you are going to copy it. And did I copy it already? I think I copied it already, so I will show you that. Or maybe I didn't. I have it in the other place. So you will go to JDBC, click on PSC, PostgreSQL. You don't see the jar because I have it in my previous setup, which I will copy in a minute. Or you know what? Let's go here. Let's click on download it. That's fine. So where do you want this? I want it in the 401 lib. Okay, this is the place you need to copy the PostgreSQL. Okay, it downloaded and it's copied. Good. Next thing is we are going to config these files. It's not in here. Okay, there. Let's go conf, and you don't see Hive dash site. This is the file. You are going to rename it and rename it to Hive site .xml. Yes. Right click, edit it. Okay, you have this. We are going to change a couple of things here. All the connections by default, as I said, they will point to Derby. We need to change them to PostgreSQL. And PostgreSQL password, what did I create? I created the password as this. So let me go ahead and update that. Then click next, or I can say find all, then it will give me all. I can click on them. Connection URL, as you can see, it's pointing to Derby. Now I need to change that to point to my PostgreSQL. All right. Next one is the driver name. It is pointing to Derby driver name. Let's change that to PostgreSQL. Next, username. I think I remember it's PSQL user. And finally, the password which we already entered. So save it, close it. Along with that, I'm going to add one more property, which is it one more or two more? Yeah, one more. This one, it doesn't exist in that file, so I'm just going to add it. Auto creating schema data nucleus. Now you can add it anywhere you want. And then there is this particular scratch directory which is going to cause an issue. I will tell you why. Let's do back. So this is pointing to the system. On Windows, it cannot get the values for these two from the system. So it is going to use this as is and it will complain about it. So for that reason, we are going to hard code those values to here. Okay. So actually what you can do is Control H and then copy this value and paste it. So it will replace in, not back, replace in all the directions. What? It didn't find any? Oh, sorry, not this file, this file. replace all. So 3 occurrences, that's fine with us because 1, 2, 3. We want to update it and see it did it successfully. That's about that configuration. So we successfully configured it, save it. The next thing is if you go to uh, here and if you try to run Hive, it will ask you this because it is unable to find Hive. Since this is Windows, it is looking for hive.cmd file in the Hive bin. If I go to here and bin, you might say like, okay, there is Hive. What is the problem? But it is not hive.cmd. It is looking for hive.cmd. And if you go here, or not here, in this folder itself, right? We don't have it. That is the problem. So what we have to do is there is a separate set of files for Hive bin for Windows. You need to download all of them. And where are they located? They are located in this particular location. You can do it manually if you wish to, right? This is the trunk bin. All these 4 files, you can see the command. They created it for us. The equivalent of shell scripts for Linux. But instead of that, I took a shortcut. I already have Choco installed, which is Chocolatey. You can install Linux tools or like Windows tools using command line. This is like apt get for Linux. So I already installed. If you don't know how to install, Google it, you can get it. So once you have that, I want you to open PowerShell, but open this in admin. Anything you run using Choco, it needs to be admin. Enter this, run it, it will install SVN. Once you install SVN, it is as simple as just executing this particular command. Copy that to temp or any directory you wish, but remember this directory should not exist. So I will just execute this for you. And it downloaded all of them and placed in that particular directory. So I will go to the directory. I should have temp2 and it copied all the contents of bin. So I will just copy this. I'll go to my actual bin and you can delete this or backup, whatever you want. Paste it. That's it, done. Okay. That's step you need to do. And remember, if you watched the Ubuntu video setup video, there was 2 methods how you can actually uh, create the tables Hive requires in PostgreSQL. One is I wouldn't say hard method, but one method is you go to the PostgreSQL and Hive gives you scripts you can execute that will create all the tables and database, or only tables maybe. And the easy method is you just run this command on Hive and then it automatically connects to PostgreSQL using the credentials you have provided in the Hive site file and it creates those tables. But with Windows, this is not working for me. So what I did is I ran this command on Postgre to create it. But how do you get, where is this file? Well, it's in Hive directory. Go to scripts, Metastore, upgrade. Here you will see all the databases you can use as Hive Metastore and it will provide scripts for them. For setting it up, since we are using 4.0.1, this is the one you need to use. All right. So that is the file I'm executing. If you are interested in want to know what is in it, it just have create tables. It creates all the tables that is required by Hive so that we can use PostgreSQL as a data warehouse or a metastore, not data warehouse, as a metastore. All right. How do I do that? Well, close this because I logged in as PostgreSQL as the user. So go here, type psql, run it. Localhost is my server. Database is going to be py metastore. It's not Postgres. Py metastore will be the database and port is the same. User is psql user and password is the password I set up. Okay, we successfully logged in. If you see, it won't have any tables at this moment. /dt. Okay, where is that command, this command /I, and then give the path to your PostgreSQL. Remember the slashes. It will run a script. Enter. As you can see, it created that many tables and indexes and whatnot. If I enter the same command, you will see all the tables that it created. You can see all by clicking enter. Okay, that's it. It created all the tables that are required by Hive on my PostgreSQL. But so far, we haven't tested if Hive is able to talk to PostgreSQL or not. If you use this, you would have known that. But since we didn't, we don't know yet until we actually start our Hive service Metastore. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, by this time, you should have your Hive service, Hadoop services running. And for me, my data node and name node are running successfully. By the way, the JPS only works if you pointed your JDK in the path. If you pointed JRE, JPS won't work. JPS will only work if you are pointing JDK to your path. How do I know if I am type where? Okay, I didn't give it here. Maybe only it works in command line. Where Java. Okay. Now, as you can see, my Java program is being called from the JDK, not from JRE. So check that. If it is not, then go to the path and add your JDK bin. Then your JPS will work. JPS is a command that shows all the Java processes running on your computer. Right now, data node and name node are the two processes that are running. So that's why it is showing me that. Okay. So next thing is just execute the Hive service Metastore. Just fingers crossed, I guess. And by the way, when it is running, leave it. If you cancel it, then it will close the Hive Metastore. If you want to run in the background, I don't know what to add. In Unix, we add an ampersand at the end, and Windows, I don't know. But yeah, just run it and leave this one as is. Don't cancel it, control C it, exit it, because if you close this, then it will close the Metastore. Got it? Okay, let's give it a couple of more seconds. And I think we are good. Now let's go ahead and start the Hive service, Hive server. Two. Similarly to that, once you execute it, come out of it, don't close it or anything like that. And looks like we might, okay, see this? This is, but I thought I replaced everything. See, this is the problem we are going to have. Okay, let me cancel this one. I will just say yes, that's fine. You see, this is, but I thought I changed everything. Didn't I? Okay, let me go back. I hope this Hive site is from, yeah, my folder. So let's search for that again. Okay, no search, nothing found. Why is it having issues then? Okay, maybe there is a little bit problem here somewhere. Okay, let's search with this one itself. Okay, we do have it here. We only had the temp directory. That's the problem. Okay, that's fine. Let's copy it, paste it here. Okay. Which is the download resources. Didn't I already add it here? I think I added it here. Yeah, download resources. I added it here. Weird. Let's go back and let's run it again. Hive server 2. Okay, now we didn't get that error. It has to show it's running on some port. Okay, good. Now, how do I make sure these are actually running? Maybe they are running, but maybe some error. Well, I have provided exactly those commands. These are the ports you need to check. If they are listening on these ports, which means your both Metastore and Hive server are running. Good, they are. Next thing is you need to connect to the Hive server, but we are going to use beeline. That is the only way to connect it to the Hive server too. But the beeline, remember the bin, whatever is in the bin, where did we copy this from? We copied this from that trunk directory svn, right? Unfortunately, whatever is in here is not working for me. So what I did is, or at least what I want you to do is replace whatever is here. From here, copy it, all this, and replace everything in the command, backspace, paste it, save it. This is my Hive home, this is my Hadoop home. So put those and then save it. That's about it. Then finally, we are going to execute this particular command that will let us connect to Hive server 2. Enter. Okay, it says there is a problem. Okay, there is one more setting that we need to add. I missed it. So you are going to get this because there is a setting in the Hive site somewhere which doesn't let you impersonate as anonymous, etc. So we are going to set that as false. I might have it somewhere here, but I just missed to execute that. I think it is this one. Is it this? I guess so. Let's go ahead. Search for it. Okay, here we go. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. I think let me search with impersonate. Search all. Oh, I didn't find any. There should be a setting. Let's see if I can find that here. This is the reason I try to use whatever is in here to execute it so that you guys can replicate it. Okay, give me a minute. Already chat GPT gave me that. So what is it? It is this one. Control F. Next. Okay, this one. So what I will do is I will just copy this and I will add it in our commands. Where? Here. Okay. It is true. All you need to do is make it false. And you can read the description. Right? Setting this property to true will execute Hive operations as the user making the calls to it. And the user who is making it, Sthita Pragna, and he cannot be impersonated as anonymous. That's why it's failing. So we'll change this to false. And I think we should be good. Before running that, let me see. I don't know if I have to restart everything. Let's see. Yeah, I have to restart Hive store and that. So just close them and you're good. Metastore. Let it run. Okay, until you reach that, then go here and run Hive server 2. And then let's execute this to check if they're all listening. Yes, they are. Now let's go ahead and run our beeline. And once you see this, that's it. Your beeline is able to connect successfully. Now you can say show databases. We will only have the default database right now. That's what it will be listed. I didn't add any commands here, but let me add. We have create couple of them in the Ubuntu side. So let's go ahead and copy them. Where are they? Hive on Ubuntu. So there should be some. Yeah, here we go. We have created some dummy. So to see if it actually no. To see if we are actually able to connect to the PostgreSQL or not, what we can do is on this, let's create a dummy database. Okay, it said it created. Now if I say show databases, it will show me this, but if I go to Postgre, it should show it as well. Correct? So that's what we will do. But Postgre, it's not like you issue /dt and it will show you. No, because these are the tables that are created on PyMetastore. But anything, any database table you create in Hive will be part of some of these tables. And the table that actually stores your Hive databases is DBS. So after logging into Postgre, select this from here. Okay. Select this from the DBS. It will show you all the databases that are on the Hive, and it is saying there is a default database and there is a smoke test DB, which is the one that I created, which means our Hive is successfully connected to PostgreSQL, and whatever you command you are executing here, like creating it, it's successfully creating it in the PostgreSQL. So that's about this video, but it took me a lot of time to do this because I don't set up this. I don't use this at all at my work, and I don't set up this on Windows. Windows, you will see so many issues. That's why I prefer Ubuntu. That's why I had to do some testing and the failures happened. Then I used Google, ChatGPT, whatnot. But anyways, you now know how to set this up. Again, if you face any issues during any of these setups, don't worry. Just in the chat, leave a message, and if there are multiple people facing these issues, or even if one person is facing this issue, then I will set up a meeting according to my availability, and then we can sort it out. We can maybe fix this issue. Why? Because the rest after this section, after this chapter, the remaining chapters that we are going to have, you will do heavy hands-on. You will have classworks, you will have homeworks. So if you don't have an active environment, working environment, then you won't be able to do all those. So it doesn't make any sense for you to watch the videos. So for that reason, I want everyone, once they step into chapter 3, I want everyone to have Spark, Hive, whatever we are doing here up and running. Okay. That being said, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And if you are generous, if you feel generous, you can use the donation link in the description to donate it as well. That being said, again, don't forget the quizzes and the interview questions in the description. There will be a URL. We have a website now. Click on that URL. It will take you to all the quizzes and interview questions so far we have on the site. It shows you by episode and chapter. So click and watch it, do it. I hope you like the quiz, how I set it up. I'm still tinkering. If you have suggestions, you can leave it in the comments as well. See you in the next one. Peace out. I love you all.